Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they feed their mind with the wrong thoughts every single day. Just like your body becomes what you eat, your life becomes what you think. Your mind is a garden, whether you accept it or not. Something is always growing inside it. No ground stays empty for long. If you don't choose what to plant, life will plant it for you through fear, doubt, opinions of others, past failures, and silent insecurities that slowly take root without your permission. And just like a real garden, what grows is not determined by wishes. It is determined by what is planted, what is watered, and what is allowed to stay. If you plant seeds of fear, you will grow hesitation. If you plant seeds of doubt, you will grow insecurity. If you plant seeds of comparison, you will grow dissatisfaction. But if you plant seeds of belief, you begin to grow confidence. If you plant seeds of gratitude, you begin to grow peace. If you plant seeds of purpose, you begin to grow direction. This is not poetry, this is law. Every thought you repeat is a seed. Every emotion you entertain is water. Every belief you accept is sunlight. And over time, what you consistently nurture becomes your reality. But here is what makes it deeper. Your mind is not just your responsibility, it is a trust. You were given this mind by a law, not as a place for chaos, but as a space for clarity, reflection, and guidance. And he found you lost and guided you. A reminder that guidance begins from within. When the heart and mind are aligned with truth, when you fill your mind with negativity, you are not just harming your future, you are neglecting a gift that was given to you with purpose. Because a mind connected with faith does not stay weak for long. A heart that remembers Allah cannot stay empty for long. But when you disconnect, when you allow toxic thoughts to grow freely, when you replay pain, regret, and fear over and over again, it is like watering weeds and then asking why your garden looks lifeless. And the painful part is, most people are doing this every single day. Without realizing it, they wake up and immediately feed their mind with worry. They compare their lives with others. They replay their failures. They listen to voices that tell them they are not enough. And slowly, silently, their inner garden becomes a place of anxiety, self-doubt. And their inner garden becomes a place of anxiety, self-doubt, and emotional exhaustion. You can see it in their eyes. You can feel it in their energy. You can hear it in the way they speak about themselves, because whatever grows inside eventually shows outside. But imagine this. Imagine waking up and planting just one strong thought, one belief that says, I am capable because Allah has given me strength. Imagine watering your mind with gratitude instead of complaints, remembering what you have. Instead of obsessing over what you lack, imagine removing one negative thought every day, pulling it out like a weed before it spreads, because that's what discipline looks like at the mental level. It's not loud, it's not visible, but it is powerful. Your future is not built in one big moment. It is grown quietly, thought by thought, day by day. And here is the emotional truth most people avoid. No one else is responsible for what grows in your mind, not your past, not your circumstances, not the people who hurt you. You can carry pain, but you don't have to plant it. You can remember the struggle, but you don't have to let it define your thinking, because the moment you become conscious of your thoughts, you take back control of your garden. And control changes everything. The strongest people are not those who never face negativity. They are the ones who refuse to let negativity take root. They stood guard over their minds. They chose what to believe. They chose what to focus on. They chose what to grow. And that choice, repeated daily, shaped who they became. So every morning, before the world speaks to you, before distractions begin, before doubt tries to enter, ask yourself, what am I planting today? Because whether you realize it or not, something is growing inside you right now. And whatever you allow to grow will one day become the life you are living. Thoughts become reality. Not overnight, not magically, but quietly, consistently, and with undeniable certainty. What you think about once may pass like a cloud, but what you think about repeatedly begins to take root. And once a thought takes root, it doesn't stay a thought for long. It turns into a belief that starts to feel real, a belief that begins to guide your decisions, a belief that shapes how you see yourself and how you see the world. This is how invisible things become visible. You don't wake up one day confident or broken. You become that way through repeated conversations with your own mind. If you keep telling yourself, I'm not good enough, at first it feels like a passing doubt. Then it becomes a familiar voice. Then it becomes a belief. And eventually it becomes your identity. Your actions follow you hesitate. You overthink, you avoid opportunities. You settle for less than what you're capable of, not because you lack ability, but because your thoughts trained you to believe you do. But the same process works in your favor too. If you begin to repeat thoughts of strength, even when you don't fully believe them yet, even when your reality doesn't reflect them yet, something starts to shift your mind, begins to accept new possibilities. Your beliefs begin to expand. Your actions begin to change because your brain listens to what you tell it the mo. And here's the deeper truth. This system was not created randomly. Allah created the human mind with this exact ability, the ability to transform repetition into belief and belief into action. Indeed, Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves. This is not just spiritual guidance, it is psychological reality. Change what you repeatedly think, and you begin to change who you are. But most people never take control of this process. They let their past write their thoughts. They let their fears repeat themselves daily. They let negativity echo in their minds until a P feels like truth. And then they wonder why their life doesn't change because they are trying to change results without changing the thoughts that create those results. Your life follows your dominant thoughts. If your mind is filled with limitation, your actions will shrink. If your mind is filled with possibility, your actions will expand. This is why two people can have the same opportunity and create completely different outcomes. One sees risk, the other sees growth. One expects failure, the other prepares for success. And both are simply acting according to what they have been repeatedly telling themselves. This is how powerful repetition is. It programs you, not instantly, but permanently. Every time you entertain a thought, you strengthen it. Every time you repeat it, you give it authority. Every time you believe it, you turn it into direction. And over time, your life begins to mirror that direction. You don't attract what you want. You act in alignment with what you believe. And what you believe is built from what you think about daily. So if your reality feels limited, heavy, or stuck, look beyond your circumstances. Look at your thinking patterns, because your mind may be repeating something that your life is simply obeying. Be selective with what you allow into your mind, because not everything deserves a place there. Your mind is not a storage room for every opinion, every piece of news, every negative voice, and every passing distraction. It is a sacred space, a place where your identity is shaped, where your beliefs are formed, and where your future quietly begins. And yet, most people treat it carelessly. They open their minds to everything, endless scrolling, unfiltered conversations, voices that criticize, complain, and confuse, and then they wonder why they feel overwhelmed, anxious, and mentally exhausted, because whatever enters your mind does not leave easily. Every word you hear, every image you see, every idea you entertain leaves a trace, and over time, those traces build patterns. Those patterns shape thoughts. Those thoughts shape your life. So the question is not whether input affects you. The question is whether you are choosing it consciously or consuming it carelessly, because careless consumption leads to controlled thinking, and controlled thinking leads to a controlled life. You cannot afford that, not when your purpose is greater, not when your potential is waiting, not when your mind was given to you as a trust from Allah. You were not created to absorb everything. You were created to discern, to succeed. Protect what influences you is not just advice, it is a responsibility, because a protected mind is a focused mind, and a focused mind is a powerful one. Think about this deeply. If someone brings you food, you don't eat it without checking if it's clean or harmful. So why accept thoughts, opinions, and information without questioning their impact on your mind? Why allow negativity to enter freely? Why give attention to things that weaken your belief, disturb your peace, and distract your purpose? Attention is not cheap. It is one of the most valuable things you own. Where you place it determines way it grows inside you. If you give your attention to drama, you grow stress. If you give your attention to comparison, you grow insecurity. If you give your attention to fear, you grow hesitation. But if you give your attention to truth, growth, and purpose, you grow strength. This is why discipline is not just about what you do. It is about what you allow. Sometimes growth is not about adding more. It is about removing what doesn't belong, removing voices that plant doubt, removing habits that waste your focus, removing environments that drain your energy. Because every unnecessary input is noise, and noise weakens clarity, and without clarity, direction is lost. There is also a spiritual weight to this. What you expose your mind to affects your heart. And what affects your heart affects your connection with Allah. A distracted mind struggles to reflect. A polluted mind struggles to feel peace. A noisy mind struggles to hear guidance. But when you begin to filter your input, something changes. Your thoughts become clearer. Your emotions become calmer. Your decisions become stronger. You begin to think with intention instead of reaction. And slowly, your life starts to align, because you are no longer being shaped by everything around you. You are choosing what shapes you. So be careful. Not everything you see deserves your attention. Not every voice deserves your belief. Not every idea deserves a place in your mind. Guard it, protect it, filter it, because once something enters your mind, it has the power to stay, to grow, and to influence who you become. Daily mental discipline is essential, because your mind, if left unchecked, does not drift towards success. It drifts toward comfort, distraction, and weakness. Control is not something you apply once and forget. It is something you practice every single day, because every day your mind is being tested by distractions, tested by negative thoughts, tested by emotions that try to pull you away from your purpose. And if you are not disciplined mentally, you will not even notice when you lose control. You will wake up with intention and lose it to scrolling. And in confusion, you will start with focus and end in confusion, and fall back into old habits, not because you lack ambition, but because you lack control over what enters your mind. And what enters your mind eventually controls you. This is why discipline at the mental level is more powerful than discipline at the physical level. Because before any action happens, a thought happens first. Before you act with confidence, you must think with confidence. Before you stay consistent, you must believe in consistency. Before you achieve anything externally, it must be accepted internally. So if your thoughts are scattered, your actions will be inconsistent. If your thoughts are weak, your decisions will be hesitant. Success is not built on random effort. It is built on controlled thinking, and controlled thinking requires daily discipline. Not sometimes, not when you feel motivated, but especially when you don't feel like it, because that is when your mind is most vulnerable. That is when it tries to take shortcuts. That is when it tries to justify laziness. That is when it whispers excuses that feel reasonable but lead you away from your goals. And if you are not alert, you will believe those excuses. This is why you must train your mind like you would train your body. You don't go to the gym once and expect strength. You don't eat healthy once and expect transformation. In the same way, you cannot control your mind once and expect lasting discipline. It is repetition. It is consistency. It is daily effort. Every morning, you must reset your focus. Before the world tells you what to think, you must decide what you will allow. You must feed your M. End with clarity. Remind yourself of your purpose. Strengthen your beliefs before doubt has a chance to enter. Because if you don't set the tone for your mind, the world will do it for you, and the world is not always careful about what it feeds you. There is noise everywhere. Fear is amplified. Negativity spreads faster than truth, and without discipline. Your mind absorbs it all until you feel overwhelmed, until you feel stuck, until you feel disconnected from your own potential. But discipline changes that. It gives you control. It gives you direction. It gives you the ability to say no to what weakens you and yes to what strengthens you. And there is a deeper responsibility within this. Your mind is an amana, a trust from Allah. You are accountable for how you use it, for what you allow into it, for what you choose to focus on. A disciplined mind reflects gratitude. A focused mind reflects purpose. A controlled mind reflects strength of character. And when your mind is aligned, your actions follow with power. You begin to act with intention instead of impulse. You begin to move with clarity instead of confusion. You begin to persist even when it's difficult, because your thoughts are no longer your weakness. They become your support. This is how success begins, not in the outer world, but in the quiet, unseen discipline of your mind, built daily, protected daily, strengthened daily, because the person who wins is not the one who tries the hardest occasionally, but the one who controls their mind consistently. Negative thoughts grow automatically. They don't ask for permission. They don't wait for the right moment, and they don't need effort to exist. They appear quietly, and then they stay loudly. One small doubt, and suddenly your mind starts building the story. One fear, and it begins to multiply. One bad experience, and it tries to define your entire future. That is the nature of negativity. It spreads without discipline. You don't have to train your mind to worry. You don't have to practice overthinking. You don't have to work hard to feel. Fear, it happens on its own. Like weeds in an abandoned garden, negativity grows where there is no control. And if you ignore it, it doesn't stay small. It expands, it takes space, it chokes everything else that could have grown in its place. That's why one negative thought, if left unchecked, can ruin your entire day, not because it was powerful, but because it was repeated, and repetition gives it strength. Your mind begins to believe what it hears the most. Stay, if it's not true. So when you keep thinking, I can't do this, I'm not ready, what if I fail? Your mind doesn't question it. It accepts it. And once it accepts it, your behavior follows. You hesitate, you delay, you avoid not, because you lack ability, but because negativity was allowed to grow without resistance. But positivity is different. Positivity does not grow by accident. It does not appear automatically. It does not survive without effort. It must be planted intentionally. It must be protected daily. It must be repeated consistently, because your mind is naturally pulled toward what is easy. And negativity is easy. Positivity is a decision, a conscious choice you make, even when you don't feel like it, even when your emotions are heavy, even when your situation is uncertain. It is choosing belief when doubt feels stronger. It is choosing hope when fear feels real. It is choosing patience when frustration is louder. And that choice is not always comfortable. Sometimes it feels forced. Sometimes it feels unnatural. Sometimes it feels like you're lying to yourself. But with time, repetition turns it into truth. Because just like negative thoughts can train your mind into weakness, positive thoughts can train your mind into strength. But only if you are willing to do the work, and the work is internal. It is catching a negative thought the moment it appears. It is questioning it. Instead of accepting it, it is replacing it with something stronger. Instead of letting it stay, that is discipline, that is awareness, that is control. And there is a deeper understanding within this. Your mind was not created to trap you in negativity. It was created to rise above it. Allah reminds us again and again to reflect, to think positively, to trust in His plan, because a believer is not someone who never faces negative thoughts. A believer is someone who does not let those guides take control. Even in difficulty, there is guidance. Even in pain, there is purpose. Even in uncertainty, there is wisdom. But if your mind is filled with negativity, you won't see any of it. Because negativity blinds, while positivity reveals. So every day, you are standing at a silent decision point. Will you let your thoughts grow on their own, or will you take responsibility for what grows inside you? Because if you don't choose your thoughts will choose your life. Environment influences thinking more than most people are willing to admit. You may believe your thoughts are your own, but if you look closely, you'll realize many of them were shaped by what surrounds you. The conversations you hear, the people you spend time with, the content you consume daily. All of it quietly programs your mind, because the human mind absorbs more than it questions. If you are constantly surrounded by negativity, complaints become normal, doubt feels logical, limitation starts to look like reality. And slowly, without realizing it, your thinking begins to shrink. You start speaking like them. You start reacting like them. You start believing what they believe. Not because it's true, but because its repeated environment does not ask for your permission to influence you. It happens automatically, just like sitting in a room full of smoke. You don't have to try to inhale it, and this is where most people lose control. They want to grow, but they stay in environments that keep them the same. They want peace, but they surround themselves with chaos. They want success, but they listen to voices that normalize mediocrity. And then they wonder why their mindset never changes. Because growth and environment must align. You cannot expect powerful thinking in a weak environment. If every day you are exposed to fear, gossip, distraction, and negativity, your mind will carry that in, urge you. But if you place yourself around clarity, discipline, purpose, and belief, your thinking begins to rise, because elevation is contagious. Just like negativity is, spend time with people who think bigger, and your vision expands. Listen to ideas that challenge you, and your mindset sharpens. Stay in environments that demand growth, and your standards increase. This is not motivation. This is influence, and influence shapes identity. There is also a deeper responsibility in this. Your environment is not just physical, it is spiritual. What you listen to affects your heart. What you watch affects your focus. What you engage with affects your connection with Allah. A toxic environment does not just drain your energy, it distances you from clarity, from peace, from purpose. But a healthy environment reminds you of who you are. It strengthens your belief. It brings you back to what truly matters. Because when your surroundings are aligned with truth, your thinking becomes clearer, and clear thinking leads to better choices. But here is the hard truth. Sometimes growth requires distance. Distance from people who drain you. Distance from habits that weaken you. Distance from environments that keep you stuck. Not out of arrogance, but out of awareness. Because not everyone is meant to grow with you, and not every place is meant to take you forward. You have to choose. what you tolerate, shapes you what you stay around, becomes part of you. So be intentional, choose environments that challenge you to become better, choose people who remind you of your potential, choose ideas that push you toward purpose. Because over time, you will not rise above your environment. You will become a reflection of it. Consistency builds identity. Not in loud moments of motivation, but in the quiet repetition of what you do and think every single day. Who you are is not defined by what you do once. It is defined by what you repeat. One positive thought will not change your life, but a positive thought repeated daily begins to change who you are. Because identity is not something you declare, it is something you build, and it is built through consistency. Every time you choose a strong thought over a weak one, you are shaping your identity. Every time you reject doubt and replace it with belief, you are reinforcing who you are becoming at first. It feels small, almost invisible. You don't see immediate results. You don't feel a dramatic shift, but something is happening beneath the surface. Your mind is learning, your beliefs are adjusting, your inner voice is being rewritten, and slowly, the way you see yourself begins to change. You stop saying, "I'm trying," you start saying, "This is who I am." Because consistency turns effort into identity. If you consistently think with discipline, you become disciplined. If you consistently think with confidence, you become confident. If you consistently think with purpose, you become purposeful. Not because you forced it, but because you practiced it. And the deeper truth is this: your mind believes what you show it repeatedly. Not what you say once, not what you wish occasionally, but what you prove daily. So if your thoughts are inconsistent, your identity will feel unstable, one day strong, the next day uncertain, one moment focused, the next moment distracted, because there is no pattern for your mind to follow. But when you become consistent, everything begins to align. Your thoughts become clearer. Your decisions become faster. Your actions become stronger because your identity is no longer confused. It knows who it is. And this is where true power comes from, not from motivation, not from temporary bursts of energy, but from a stable identity built through repeated thinking. There's also a spiritual depth to this process. Every good thought you choose, every moment you discipline your mind, every effort you make to think positively is seen by Allah even when no one else notices, even when there is no immediate reward, even when it feels like a silent struggle. Because consistency is a form of sincerity. It shows who you are when no one is watching. It shows what you value without needing validation. And over time, Allah places barakah in what is consistent. Small efforts become powerful, simple habits become transformative. Quiet discipline becomes visible strength. This is how a stronger version of you is created, not in one big decision, but in thousands of small, consistent choices. You don't wake up one day as a new person. You become that person through what you feed your mind daily, thought by thought, day by day. Choic. By choice, until one day, you look at yourself and realize you are no longer the person who once doubted everything. You are no longer controlled by fear or distraction. Because through consistency, you trained your mind, and through your mind, you transformed your identity. Feed your mind with strength, and your life will reflect strength. Feed it with purpose, and your path will become clear. Because at the end of the day, you don't become what you want, you become what you consistently think about.